The United States wants to ban TikTok. They say that TikTok is Chinese spyware designed to intrude on the privacy and lives of Americans, and there is some truth to this. I mean, TikTok doesn't even try to hide it. If you go onto their privacy policy page, they clearly list out exactly what they collect. They of course collect the classic stuff like what device you're using, your IP address, and your location. But they also collect some more sus items like your biometrics, including your face print and voice print, and that's just the things that they admit to. Who knows what other data the TikTok may be collecting, and what exactly they're doing with this data. To be honest though, TikTok's data collection is not all that different from Facebook's or Google's or even Apple's, but since they're a Chinese company, countries have been a lot more cautious. In fact, several notable countries have already banned the app, like India, who banned it nearly 3 years ago at this point. The US has also started taking action. Earlier this year, dozens of college campuses banned the use of TikTok on school Wi-Fi. TikTok has also been banned on government devices, and its CEO has been grilled in Congress. But likely the scariest part for TikTok is the fact that both sides of government are uniting on this issue. Some Democrats have even gone as far as admitting that Donald Trump was right about TikTok the entire time. That's when you know you're really screwed. But if you thought that TikTok was gonna lay down and take this beating, you'd be mistaken. 3 years ago, a ban was not something that they were anticipating, meaning that they had to do as the US said, including selling themselves to Oracle. But this time, they've had plenty of time to prepare, and it looks like they already have an extensive 3-phase plan in place. They're currently working on the 3rd phase of this plan, which is by far the most evil, as they're essentially buying out a bunch of Americans. So join me as we dive deep into TikTok's sneaky plan to avoid getting banned. Coming out on top on any deal is quite easy. The key is to have leverage. 3 years ago, America had all the leverage as it was TikTok that was dependent on America. They were dependent on American creators, American viewers, and most importantly, American consumerism and addiction. These things are still very much true, which gives the US government quite a bit of power. So the key for TikTok is to overcome this dependency, and the easiest way to do that is to ensure that the US is even more dependent on TikTok. The first step in making this the reality was addressing the American economy by launching TikTok ads in June of 2020. To be honest, the usage of TikTok ads is still quite low by big brands. Most brands just don't want to get involved with short-form cringe content. But a lot of dropshippers and e-commerce gurus have apparently made it work, leading to a decent amount of revenue. In fact, TikTok is expected to pull in $8.75 billion worth of revenue this year and $11 billion worth of revenue next year just from the US. But wait a minute, doesn't this just make TikTok even more dependent on the US? Well, that's how it appears at first glance, but it's not really true. For one, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, pulled in $80 billion worth of revenue last year, so the revenue from TikTok US is only about 10%. Still, 10% is not a bad amount, right? Well, that is until you consider that ByteDance actually lost $7 billion by running TikTok. So financially speaking, ByteDance will be just fine without TikTok. In fact, they'll be better off. This isn't to say that ByteDance wants to lose TikTok, but they're by no means dependent on this revenue. Do you know who is dependent on TikTok though? Creators and advertisers who built their businesses around the platform. So it's not America who's making TikTok a viable business. It's actually ByteDance who's subsidizing American creators and advertisers. Think about this. Every minute, people consume 167 million hours of TikTok. Assuming that the average TikTok is viewed for 15 seconds, we're talking about 668 million views per minute. According to TikTok themselves, 25% of these views go to American creators, which translates to 167 million views per minute. That's the same as, wait for it, 87 trillion views per year. I had to double check that number like 7 times because it just seemed so wrong, but that's the number, 87 trillion. Now, TikTok doesn't pay very much per view. They only pay about 2 to 4 cents per 1,000 views. So that 87 trillion views translates to just $1.75 billion. But we all know that the real money on TikTok isn't with TikTok ads, it's with sponsorships and brand deals. For creators, TikTok ad revenue is likely at most 5% of their total TikTok revenue, meaning that American creators alone are actually pulling in closer to 30 to 40 billion through TikTok. And if companies are paying creators this much, they're likely pulling in 3 to 4 times that themselves. So we're talking about a $100 billion economy here, the vast majority of which doesn't even go to TikTok. For perspective, if TikTok US was a country, it would rank 63 on the GDP list. And all of this is only possible because ByteDance is subsidizing the platform. So who's the one who really needs TikTok to survive? ByteDance or this $100 billion industry? Clearly, it's the latter. But TikTok's influence on the American economy goes much deeper than just creators and advertisers. TikTok has clearly built a thriving social media economy in the US, but as we previously touched on, this primarily consists of small businesses and individual creators. The Apples and Coca-Colas of the world don't really want to get involved. On one hand, this is a good thing. ByteDance can argue that a ban on TikTok would simply harm small business owners like this guy. I mean, do you really want to screw up this guy's business? Of course not. But sympathy only goes so far. If you really want Congress to be on your side, you need money. Now, ByteDance has plenty of cash, but there's no chance that they could just directly lobby Congress. If some congressman accepts lobbying dollars from ByteDance, they're literally advertising that they don't want to be reelected, so that's not gonna work. But what if you introduced a proxy, a middleman that could effectively translate cash to political influence? Where could you possibly find that? Oh yeah, the entirety of the big tech industry. Wasn't there that one tech company that was willing to buy TikTok? I think their name was Oracle. Why not just partner with them? Oh, wait, that's exactly what they're doing. In mid-2022, TikTok agreed to store all of their US data on Oracle's databases and that all traffic would be routed through Oracle servers. Don't mistake this for TikTok actually giving up control though. They're going to continue storing backups themselves because they want to ensure that they don't lose access to your data. They don't want you to lose access to your data. It's not just Oracle that they're partnering with either. They've purchased $800 million worth of cloud services from Google. They've partnered with Microsoft on an AI project, and they're integrating Shopify into TikTok. These partnerships accomplish two goals for TikTok. For one, these companies can vouch for TikTok that they are indeed properly storing their data and not using it for nefarious purposes. At least not the data that's stored on Oracle servers in America. And two, these companies can work their connections in Congress and persuade them to go easy on TikTok because, well, TikTok is a big partner/customer for them. This in itself is a pretty strong case for TikTok, but it gets even better for them. TikTok can also argue that they're supporting big American businesses and even pushing forward AI development in conjunction with Microsoft. In reality, all they're doing is buying out the support of these big tech companies. But buying out businesses is just phase 2 of TikTok's grand plan. The real power comes from buying out people, which is exactly what they're doing now. By now, I'm sure you're all well aware of the big tech layoffs. Everyone from Google and Facebook to Microsoft and Amazon is laying off tens of thousands of people. This is precisely what ByteDance is doing as well. They're also laying off thousands of people, but there's a caveat. Virtually all of ByteDance's layoffs are concentrated in China. In the meantime, they're not only maintaining headcount in America, but they're aggressively expanding headcount. In fact, they currently have over 3,400 positions open, most of which are in the US. Now, you might be wondering, what type of person would take such a big risk and join such a sketchy company? Well, the answer is virtually everyone, given the right compensation. And let's just say, TikTok is hitting compensation out of the park. Take this data engineer position for example. There's nothing especially noteworthy about it. It's not a director position or a VP position or even a manager position. The qualifications aren't that crazy either. They're just looking for 1 year of experience in these basic areas. By all accounts, this is a basic entry-level position. That is, until you look at the compensation, up to $250,000 base. When you throw in stock compensation and bonuses, you're easily looking at $300,000 to $400,000 for an entry-level data engineer position. Let's take a look at another one. This one is a data scientist position looking for just 3 years of experience. For some context, let's take a look at what Google pays. For an entry-level data scientist, they pay $180,000. That's already a stellar salary and one of the best offers you can get. But TikTok's minimum base itself is larger than Google's total comp. Again, if you throw in stock and bonus, you're looking at $300,000 to $350,000 for an entry-level position. Hearing that, I'm sure you're wondering what TikTok pays for an actual senior position. Well, here's a senior product manager position. TikTok is offering a base of up to $400,000. For perspective, even Google's directors fall $90,000 short of that base. Also, TikTok isn't just posting these random ranges, they're actually following through with offers. This guy, for example, was already making $345,000 at Facebook. TikTok, however, came in with an offer of $525,000. Now, if we're being real here, there's no way that TikTok actually values this person's work at over $500,000 per year. They can literally pay someone in China a tenth of that salary and get them to work 9 to 9, 6 days a week. But instead, TikTok is actively laying people off in China and replacing them with American counterparts that are 5 to 10 times as expensive. Why, you ask? Well, it all has to do with optics. That guy isn't worth anywhere near $500,000 per year for TikTok in terms of work output. But that guy is worth $500,000 per year for TikTok in terms of optics. TikTok already has nearly 7,000 employees in the US, and at the current rate, this will grow to the tens of thousands in no time. This way, when Congress finally comes around to taking action on a ban in 6 or 12 months, TikTok can confidently tell Congress, "Yo, we're pro-American. We're literally employing tens of thousands of Americans at salaries that are 1.5 to 2 times what even Google offers." Do you really want to pull the cord on this operation? And that right there is TikTok's trump card. Congress might be able to overlook a bunch of teens and their little influencer businesses, but what they can't overlook is tens of thousands of real tech jobs going to Americans. And that right there is why TikTok will never be banned. Clearly, TikTok has played their cards really well, and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. But the same can't be said about short-form content. Check out this video to learn more. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.